unfortunate incident for you when Neil Broughton came in, swept the puck away, and scored. Can you explain it at all?
Well, I just got the puck just inside our blue line. I tried to come out with it, and he just poke checked it from me, and I walked in all alone. I just touched him.
Steve, with the points that you've accumulated, 7 game-winning goals, you've really helped this Chicago Blackhawks team. Yet it's got to be more than luck and just being in the right place at the right time. What do you attribute your success so far to?
Well, I think that I've been very fortunate to be playing with 2 hockey players that I have been in, Dennis Savard and Secord, and they've helped me a lot throughout the whole year. And playing on a line like that, I'm been able to play power plays and get a lot of ice time, and I think that in itself has had a lot to do with my success.
Well, not only are you playing with a successful line, but you're playing with a successful team. And while you've played a part in that success, it's got to be a lot easier for a rookie to be playing in a first-place team than a team who might be floundering.
Oh, definitely. I think things are a lot more at ease in the dressing room when you're winning all the time. And we have a lot more fun, too, in practices and that. Things aren't as tense and as tight around the dressing room when you're, as compared to losing, as when you're winning all the time.
How do you compare yourself to some of the other rookies in the league?
No, I really don't know. I think that I've been fortunate, like I said before, to play with 2 guys that I'm playing with. And, a lot has to do with it. You have to be in the right place at the right time, I guess.
We've been talking a lot tonight about the sound in this building. Had you heard a lot about it? Had you seen games here before you played here? And what were your feelings when you finally did appear on the ice for the first time at Chicago Stadium?
It's probably one of the greatest feelings in my life is when you walk up the stairs at the back onto the ice, and like tonight, and you get a standing ovation when you come out. It's unbelievable. These people in this building, they really move you, and like we've said a lot of times before, they're good for 1 or 2 goals a game.
We do want to point out that the walk down from the locker room off the ice here at Chicago Stadium is about a story and a half, and the echo from the crowd just roars down that stairway, and that has to give the team a charge. Do you communicate with your brother Jeff a lot and compare notes about what's going on?
No, we talk on the phone once in a while, but we really don't compare notes. We, just talk about things that brothers talk about, I guess.
He must be feeling a little bit of a different situation in New Jersey.
Well, I'm sure he is. It's not always fun when you're losing all the time, but, you have to make the best of the situation that you're in.
I read a story recently about Orville Tessier, and Orville said, well, you never know how much you can find out about a guy until you sit down and have a beer with him. Have you had a beer with Orville Tessier yet?
I've had a couple with him, I guess, last year and this year.
What's your relationship with him?
It's pretty good, I think. He's helped me a lot. I played for him last year in New Brunswick, and he showed a lot of confidence in me to play down there, and, he's shown the same amount of confidence in me up here, too.
Well, Steve, on the stat sheet and around the people of Chicago Stadium, a great year so far, continued success. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We came up big on a couple saves, and we got the break on a 5-on-3 on the power play. We scored, and then Kurt Fraser was coming out the penalty box, and we had a 3-on-2, and they scored there. So, we were at 2-0. Hopefully, we could keep it up.
Last week, when we covered your game with Minnesota at Chicago Stadium, we had a chance to play a little piece of videotape that reminded me of how remarkable you can be. In the playoffs last year, you swept the puck right out of the crease, went the other end, and fed Fox for the winning goal in overtime. And that was one of the most dominating plays in my memory in playoff hockey. What are your memories of that play?
Well, it was a great thrill, especially in the first series of the playoff last year. It was the first game in Minnesota, and it was a big game for us. I think we carried on after that goal. I think it was a great, what really happened on that situation is Steve Behn had an open end. I just lifted up the stick, took the puck, and went all the way down the other end, and I came around the net, and I fed Greg Fox coming in the slot, and he just shot it in. It was a great feeling, and hopefully that I could repeat that again this year.
What's the key for you? Is the first step, is it the quickness or the speed?
Well, the first step when you're starting, if you want to get some speed, you got to have a quick start, and I think my biggest asset is that when I start, I could start as quick as anybody. But once you get going, it's easy after that. And I think it's a thing that I practiced a lot on when I was young, and I kept on working as a professional, and it works well for me.
You've spun some defensemen around in this league. That goes without saying. But what's the finest compliment that a member of the opposition's ever paid you?
I don't know. I can't really remember, but I remember Glenn Saylor, the coach of the Oilers, said something last year. I can't really remember what he said, but when I read this, I was very impressed by the things that he said in the paper, and I can't really remember, but I think it was a great thing. Even if I could remember, I just
well, we'll have to ask him and find out what he said. You play on a very exciting line, Al Secord, yourself, and Steve Larmer. Larmer being the rookie and the second leading scorer on the team, he's having a phenomenal year. Do you feel that you can take some credit for Steve's success?
Oh, I don't think so, Al. I think Stevie is getting his own success. He's a hard worker, and he's very smart with the puck. The first thing that when we came to training camp, Orville Tessier says, "We're looking for a right winger for you this year," and he says, "Would you like to play with Steve Larmer?" I said, "Sure. You're the boss, and whatever you say, I'll go from there." And I thought he was just outstanding. It took us a couple of weeks to get along together. I mean, not to get along, but to get to know each other. And as soon as we got to know each other, we worked out well. He's just a good hockey player both ways, offensively and defensively, and he has a quick shot too. Hal Secord, is one of the underrated player in this league, I think, and he could do everything. He could play physically, he could score goals, and he could also play both ways, same as Steve.
Dennis, you mentioned Orville Tessier, the boss. In his rookie year, I've heard that he does some unorthodox things. He tries to establish a fine relationship with his players. Do you see him as being slightly unorthodox, or do you see him as being fairly straightforward in his approach to coaching?
I think he's very forward. Orville's a great man, off the ice, but when he's coaching on the ice or we're doing a practice, I think he could be the meanest man in the world. It's a good thing for the players. We respect him a lot, and I think the success is, I think he brought the success in Chicago this year, and hopefully that we could keep it up. He gets everybody going every game, and he's a good man. I really enjoy him playing for him.
Right now you're sitting, as we mentioned earlier, 4 points on top of Minnesota. You're playing a team in Philadelphia that leads the Islanders by 7 wins, 14 points. Would you secretly rather be in your position now? Do you think it keeps you sharper going into the playoffs? Or would you rather be Philadelphia, where you could play around a little bit with different lines maybe, or just get yourself ready in other ways?
Well, it could be good both ways, really. If you're fighting out for first place till the wire, you'll be ready for the playoff. And on the other way, if you get a 10-point lead or 12-point lead going down the rest of the year, you could rest your good players, and I think it'll be a good thing if we could get ahead 10 or 12 points, because I'm getting a little tired.
Yeah, are you? It's a long season. Do you have any secrets for maintaining your concentration and desire for the long season?
Well, I don't think I've got any problem with that stuff. I think I'm very, I'm a winner, and I like to win every game, and the only way we could do that is by hard work, and I think everybody has done this job this year, and hopefully that, again, I'm repeating myself a lot, but hopefully we could keep it up, because it's a lot of fun when you're winning. Everything's easier.
All-Star center Dennis Savard of the Chicago Blackhawks. Dennis, thanks very much. It's always a pleasure.
Saying that you're not happy is inferring like you're going to bitch or you're going to complain about your ice time, and that's not what I did. You want to work hard, and I tried to work hard in practice and work into the lineup, and it just wasn't in the cards, I guess, and that's why I was happy to come here. And so I don't look at it as last year as a negative year. I look at this as a sort of a new chance for me.
Now, last year, in the pressure of the playoffs, I'm sure most of you that follow hockey know this, Orville Tessier, the coach of Chicago, said that his players ought to go to the Mayo Clinic for a heart transplant during the playoffs when the team wasn't scoring and wasn't playing well. Now, a lot of people sat back and said, how could the coach say that? And I'm wondering what your reaction was at the time, and now knowing Orville Tessier, what you think of him as a coach.
Well, at the time, it's tough to follow the games too closely unless you're right there. You catch the odd game on TV. It's tough to figure out exactly what's happening. But knowing Orville now, Orville is a winner, and he plays and coaches to win. And whatever he thinks he has to do to get the team to win, that's what he's going to do. And you can't fault that strategy. And he's tough, but he's there to win, and that's what we're all here for. So I think that all the players take everything in stride and realize that he's trying to do what he thinks is best for the club, and we respect his opinion, and he's going to get us as far as he can.
Ben, a lot of us that watch hockey know that there's a lot more to playing defense in this game than just standing at the point and shooting the puck in, and yet some other people feel that the defensive aspects of this game are sort of going out the window. We've had 10-9, 10-8s, 10-7s. What are your feelings as a defenseman this year in the NHL?
Well, I think that over the last few years in the league, the game has changed tremendously. I think the entire league is getting faster, and the individual players in the defense are getting more mobile. And as the defense continue to move up as fourth man on a rush, it's increasingly more difficult to defend against it. The old style of picking wing on wing and the defense staying back just doesn't work and doesn't win games anymore. And although the 10-8 blowouts, I think when you're down 2 goals, you try to open up and try to get back into the game. I think it's just a question of the players are all handling the puck better, and the defense is certainly getting faster.
Has your job as a defenseman become more difficult because the skills of the National Hockey League have increased at such an accelerated rate?
I think that'd be a fair statement to say for all the defense in the league. Defending is getting far more complicated. You have to worry about the fourth men coming up, and a lot of the defensemen handle the puck as well or better than the forwards. All the defensemen seem to shoot better. The attacks are becoming more complex, more like the European or Russian style. So it's getting tougher for all the defense. But then again, defense is a five-man unit, and five men coming back and trying to cover a zone or a man-on-man really helps out. So there's going to be more scoring in the game. It's going to get tougher, but I think it's tougher on everyone, and I don't feel... I feel a little sorry for the goaltenders. That's where it really gets tough.
We've run out of time, but I've always wanted to know, why is there an H in your first name?
I was named after my grandfather, and I think that's Scottish or Gaelic, and that's the only explanation I've ever heard.
All right, great. Congratulations to you and your wife and your new young daughter, Beth, and thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
Behn Wilson now playing defense.
Well, if Al Secord with me now, if you were in the game tonight, I wonder what the score would be. 54 goals last season, you're out with an injury right now. How does it feel, and how long do you think you're going to be out for?
Well, it doesn't feel too bad. It's nothing real serious, but it's one of those type of injuries that, if you aggravate it anymore, you're going to miss a month. So better take off a few days and make sure it heals properly, get back into the lineup as quick as possible.
Al, what has been the difference in your play since coming from the Boston Bruins over here to Chicago? 54 goals last year, outstanding season, 46 goals the year before. What changes over, or what makes a player just all of a sudden develop into, say, a goal scorer?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with being sent down to the minors that year in Boston, and I think my role in Boston was a limited role as far as just playing an aggressive hockey style, and coming to Chicago, getting a lot of ice time, playing with Dennis Savard, Tim Higgins, Stevie Larmer, the three of us working together. You just build your confidence, get the experience, and hard work, I guess, and everything comes together.
Hard work seems to pay off all the time. Let's look back last season, the series against Edmonton. A lot of people figured you'd give them a battle. Very difficult series. That's got to be something that this Blackhawk team is looking forward to maybe revenging this season.
I think so. They're off to a good start again this year, and we played them in exhibition, and they looked the same as they did the playoffs, and we know they're going to be a team to beat, but we'll have to remember what we did wrong, remember the things that Edmonton did, be a little more mentally and physically prepared to play them, and put in a better showing and definitely beat them this year.
Al, good luck to you. Good luck, hopefully another 50-goal season. I know people in Boston are pulling for you.
All right, thank you.
Al Secord.
He has a reputation of being a fearful type of man. You almost get scared of him when you walk up to him. But seriously, what type of pressure has he put on the team? What type of things has he said, and how much of a relief is tonight's game to you?
Well, you got to realize Orville just can't stand to lose. You know, he comes to the rink and he'll do whatever he thinks is necessary to win a game, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He's not always your happy-go-lucky guy in between periods, but he's been effective over the years where he's been. We don't cherish the thought of going in between periods after having a bad one and hearing him yell at us, but an effort like this, like you say, will keep him quiet for a few days.
And of course, from a defenseman standpoint, your standpoint, another great goaltending effort from Murray Bannerman. While he wasn't tested severely, he seemed to play with a great deal of confidence.
He really does, and he handles the puck just super. You know, Boston, like I said, Boston is a forechecking team, and a lot of time he was getting the puck out of our end or up to our wingers before we could even get back. And he's made some big saves, and I think he's definitely contributed several points to our standing so far this year.
Now, Doug, if I'm not mistaken, a few games ago when Orville Tessier was a little upset, he mixed up the lines, broke up some defensive pairs. How did that affect the team, and where did you fit in all that?
Well, the tough thing is right now we have about 26 players around here right now, and that's a lot of competition, a lot of guys to get into the rhythm of the thing early in the season, and it's a tough situation. He decided to change and put Ken Yaremchuk in, and the speed he's got, I think that
quick. Really.
He is awesome, and he sparked that line. Rich Preston is one of the best all-around forwards in the league, and he got the other line going. It was a good experiment, and the guys accepted it properly. Went out, worked harder, and like you say, tonight everything fell in place, and the effort's been there.
We sit and watch the game, and at one point Gary Green said tonight when Doug Wilson gets a hold of the puck, he can really rip one. You got a hold of a couple tonight, didn't you?
Hey, they keep blocking them. I don't know what's going on. And there's a lot of times where you really don't have to shoot it that hard. You have to place the puck, or you have to pass it. And I've been working on that the last couple of years. And with players like Steve Larmer and Dennis Savard and Tommy Light, you've got to move the puck around, give everybody create the openings and take advantage of those situations.
Now, of course, Doug Wilson doesn't get a chance to shoot from in the slot very often. You're taking shots from the point. What do you try to do when you shoot from the point? Are you targeting, or are you just hoping that something's going to happen in front?
Well, I tell you, a few years ago I used to just blast. Now I've tried to keep it lower. You know, I've talked to a few of the forwards, and they don't really cherish the thought of it coming around their ears. And if it is low, there's a chance of a deflection. It's tougher for the goalie to pick up, and I've been working on it. And a lot of times I will place it instead of just blasting away to to maybe cause a rebound, or maybe one of our guys can cut it off before it gets in net and get a better shot.
Yeah, I noticed you did that earlier in the game. You wound up, you looked like you were going to take a full-fledged blast, and then you almost soft-pedaled it, and you might look at the shot and say, well, Doug didn't get a hold of that shot, but then on second inspection, you might say, well, he just tried to put it in front and hope for a rebound.
Well, hopefully I'm getting a little older and starting to learn this game a little more.
Getting smarter on us, are you?
I don't know about that, but no, it is. I've talked to several players. Like when Bobby Orr was there, he used to do that all the time, and he helped me a little bit. And Bobby Murray, and defense partner, is really good like that. He places the puck a lot, and he's a very underrated defenseman. And we've talked about it, and it's helped just watching him, some of the moves that he's made.
Well, now you're 2 points on top of the Norris division, maybe not for long. St. Louis plays in Vancouver tonight. Are you surprised to see St. Louis up there challenging with you instead of Minnesota? They're struggling a little bit.
Well, it's still early in the year, but the way St. Louis has played against us, it is great. They the other night we were in, there was a 2-1 game, and they played the most disciplined, honest, hard-checking hockey game that we've been involved in this year. They weren't going to let us beat us. We got 1 goal against them, and a lot of other chances we had, but Louis played well, their defense played well, and they're a team to be reckoned with this year, I think.
Doug, I saw you put on the old sweater tonight. You look like you're slim, trim, in great shape. You had the remnants of a tan from the summer. What did you do in the off-season to keep yourself in shape?
Well, basically, I married a girl from here in Chicago a couple of years ago, so we stayed around here, and we're in the middle of building a house, and my wife's expecting, so all those things that kept me a little busy.
All right, Doug, thanks very much. Had a great game tonight, and I guess you hope you can keep it going for a little while.
Well, we'll try and keep it rolling, keep Orville happy.
All right. Doug Wilson, defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks, winners tonight by... The man who equalized this game is seated with me in the studio tonight, Dennis Savard of the Chicago Blackhawks. Dennis, that goal really must have lifted your team, considering your road record this year, to be even going into the third period, to look like you're in a good position to break that hex.
Well, especially in this building, you know, they're really a good hockey team, and they're pretty tough to beat in this building. But you know, we've been successful against them the last couple of years. Last year, I think we got 3 points out of 4 in this building, and again tonight, you know, I think in the first period we didn't play that well, but we start to play better in the second, and things are going our way now.
Well, they've been beating up on you a little bit this year, haven't they? You've had some problems with your back and your nose. Tell me about this year so far.
Well, it's been a tough year this year. You know, there's one thing I've got to mention. Al Secord's not around, and you know, when Al's out there, he gives me a lot of room. You know, he's just such a tough physical player that you know, a lot of guys keep away from me. So you know, Al's not there, and I get more bumps, but you know, it's part of the game, and I really get into it. You know, I've been getting hurt. I got my back hurt this year. Last year got it hurt, but this year got it hurt again, and I got my nose fractured twice. That's why it's getting so big. You know.
We thought you were just lying a lot.
No, but I got my nose fractured twice. Actually, it happened 3 weeks ago, and then last week in Quebec City, it got broken again. So, you know, what can I say? It's part of the game, and I'm back at it, and I'm happy.
Well, let's take a look at better things for you. Doug Wilson scored earlier in the period on a beautiful pass from Steve Larmer. Here's the goal that found Dennis Savard in front of the net that made this game 2-2. You remember what happened?
Yeah, I think I shot the puck, and the Justin came around the net, and I guess I shot it right up in here. You know. Thank you.
And Dennis, you mentioned about your nose. You had a heck of a way of trying to get it repaired. You had that fight earlier in the period with Brian Propp, but really when we looked at the replay, there was no reason for that fight to start.
Well, actually, Al, I just, you know, I was going for the rebound and froze the puck, and I just stopped there in front of the goaltender, and the Propp just came in and pushed me around, and I just looked at him, and I just don't like the guy, and I wanted to get with him. That's all.
Froze the puck. Very, very good.
How's that?
Dennis, we love watching you skate. You really are a joy to watch on skates. Have you learned anything, though, about skating in the past couple of years, or is it just something that you've been continuing in the past couple of years?
Well, you know, I've been skating since I'm probably 5 years old, and I guess it's a God gift, they say. And there's a lot of things that I've learned in the NHL. Since I've been here, I've probably learned most of my hockey. You know, Orville Tessie has been showing me a lot of things. I had Bob Pulfer as a coach, Keith Magnuson, and I think with a lot of veterans around the team that helped me out, I think it was just great. Stan Mikita comes on the ice with us once in a while, and I think he gives me great tips. And, you know, I've learned how to play defensively. And, you know, in the Quebec League, they say that, you know, it's a wide-open game, but, you know, here in the professional, you got to play defense and make sure that, you know, you don't get any goals against you.
Now, we watched your team win last night 4-2 over Buffalo. The second period for the Blackhawks tonight was very good. The first period tonight, however, you looked a little tight. You looked like a team that's only won 1-14 on the road. Did you feel that way?
Well, it's pretty tough. You always get that in your mind now when you're, you know, 1-14 and 2 ties, I think, on the road. It's pretty worrying, and we've been worried, all year this year. But I've got to say this: we haven't played that bad on the road. We've just been unlucky a lot of times, and plus injuries. When you're missing guys like Al Secord, Kurt Fraser, and Troy Murray, who was probably having his best year of his career, it's pretty tough because they're three physical players.
Well, Benny, thanks a lot. Hope your nose gets smaller.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Dennis Savard of the Chicago Speed. How did you develop to be such a quick skater?
Well, I did a lot of practice in when I was in Fort Saskatchewan Traders. We had a skating teacher there, and it's just you to go out to the rinks and that and practice, and you got to work at it and go to power skating and that's how I did it.
We've spoken to so many rookies this year, and it's interesting to hear how they're developing in the National Hockey League in their first year. We spoke to Brian Lawton. We've seen how Tom Barrasso has played so well. How have you enjoyed your first season here?
Well, it's great. The guys have treated me really well, and things are going really well. Orville's trying to get me into the lineup. He's not really pushing me in there, because, it's kind of hard for a rookie, just to step into the lineup unless you're, a Phil Housley or some player like that. So, I'm really happy the way things are going right now, and, the organization is treating me good, so I just have good things to say about them.
As an outsider looking in, I would think your situation has been made a little bit more difficult by the fact that the Hawks have been struggling lately. There's been some locker room tensions. Has that really hurt?
Well, oh yeah, everything goes good when you're winning, and things are bad when you're losing. So we just have to bear with it. We had a lot of injuries, to Al Secord and Kurt Fraser, and just recently we had one to Troy Murray. So those things are a big part of our team, and that's going to hurt our hockey club. So we just have to work harder, at the basic things, and hopefully get things going until those big guns get back into the lineup.
What type of expectations have you set for yourself?
Well, first I just wanted to make the team and be part of the hockey club, and that was the only really main goal that I had at the beginning of the year, and just hopefully help the team as much as possible.
Now, I know how much talent the Chicago Blackhawks team has. We saw what they could do last year in winning the Norris Division. I can't possibly understand how a team this talented could only win 1 out of 14 games on the road. What happens when you guys get to the airport?
Well, it's just one of those things. We work we work as hard as we can, to play. It's just that things aren't clicking, and before things get better, they always get worse. So, we're just hoping, that we won that big game in New York a couple days ago, and we were really close in that game against Quebec. So, when we go on the road again, we're going to try and do our best, and it's just we got to work on the basic, defensive play, because we're allowing too many goals, and we have a lot of big guns out of the lineup, and we're not scoring that many. So we have to, play more defensively on the road, and hopefully keep them teams down to 3-4 goals a game, and we'll be right in there.
Now, I haven't checked on this, and I just want to know if you've scored a goal yet here in Chicago Stadium.
Yeah, my second game that I played, I scored a goal in the first period against the Calgary Flames.
And you got chills when they turned on that steamship horn, I bet.
Oh, it was the best feeling I've ever had in my life, because the fans here just treated you well, and it was kind of a fluky goal because I didn't even know it was in, and the red light went on, and the fans, I couldn't even hear myself think. It was just unbelievable.
Well, you seem really happy. Thanks very much. Ken Yaremchuk of the Chicago Blackhawks has been our guest.
This is my kind of town, Chicago. My kind of town, Chicago.
People know who you are, and that's really different here in Chicago because not many people really follow hockey, but now that they have a whole talented team, it's really it's nice, and the biggest thrill I get is when the little kids come up to you and ask you for autograph, or you see an Olczyk jersey with 16 on the back, or that's really, I think that's great because I know how those kids feel, and because I was a kid looking at
Saturday, June 9th, 1980's. It was in the Montreal Forum that Ed's lifelong dream of playing for the Blackhawks did by Chicago. Olczyk was born in the Windy City 18 years ago and played 1 year of Junior B hockey in Stratford, Ontario, before joining the 1984 U.S. Olympic squad.
It seems like today when I was up in Stratford, and we played probably the best team in our division, and we ended up winning 7 up. Being in on all 7 points. It was just a way to start, and I guess when they could, and to show, I guess more or less, to show the Canadian players who really got back like in the National Hockey League and that kind of stuff, and to figure if I could go up there and and at least get this look.
But NHL teams had their eyes on Olczyk.
He always has been. I remember he went to the Colorado camp, a midget camp as a 15-year-old, and coached that year.
Olczyk joined the U.S. Olympic team here and tried hard to the expectations of the American hockey fan.
We were really in a no-win. As soon as we got everybody starting to team, whole new different players, whole new different coaching staff. We would have won the gold medal this year if we won't even look at the 1980. If we won a silver medal, we would have done worse. I mean, that's just the way it is. We couldn't have won, a double goal and done better because you can't. And we really, it was tough, really pressure. It wasn't much how to win, The first game, it just seemed like another game. And, I don't know what ourselves. And Canada's beat us, and they went on to bigger and better things.
He's a very emotional player and a very sincere young man. I thought makes him a good hockey player his emotion. He channels into a positive way of good skills and good competitiveness, and he's a good team player. What I like to do is keep it.
Few NHLers to still live at home has its advantages. Ed's room is littered with engineers, and his parents are
He had 8 or 9 flyers in the practice, and I yelled at him for not wearing a shield. And then the next thing I said to him was, give them back the money.
And despite being so young and just as a position
For Team USA and now the team in the Canada Cup and play team on the NHL. He earned it, and he is playing very well at this time.
But sometimes I wonder if what I'd be doing if I wasn't playing hockey. Building my way up, like you say, through the junior ranks and that. And the way I looked at it is that I've given up a lot of things to pursue a hockey career. Like I went up to Junior B Hockey Canada to jump to Olympic competition. The way to go would be on hockey league. In each jump I made, I progressed, and that's the only way you practice, and that's what I did.
Mr. Olczyk has one of the 6 goals here for the Chicago Blackhawks, and here's a guy who won't be going to the All-Star game, strangely enough, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Denny, I asked Bob Pulford prior to the game if he thought Orville Tessier sealed his fate a couple of years ago with the infamous heart transplant statement. Let me try something a little different on you. Do you think he'd have survived if he hadn't said it?
Well, I don't know. It's pretty difficult to say if he would have survived or not. But, I think Orville got fired this week is probably, different reasons. I mean, we're the ones that make things happen out there, and he's not the only one to blame, I feel. And, what he said a couple of years ago, we felt that it was unfair to say things like this. But, he was probably saying those things when he was mad. So we just got to respect what he said and, just turn our cheek and keep working at it.
You are, though, I think it's fair to say, happy that he's gone?
Well, I'm not happy. I don't like to see anybody lose a job, that's for sure. But, when things are not going well, there's got to be something, a change or something. And obviously, they don't fire players. And, Orville had to leave the team and hopefully find a job somewhere else. We lost a lot of intensity last couple of weeks under Orville, but hopefully that we could get it back with Mr. Pulford being on the bench now.
Describe your relationship with Tessier, because a lot of people said a lot of things about the way you related to him, the way he tried to motivate you, the way you perhaps rebelled against that. Tell me in your words how you got along with him. Was it as bad as people said it was?
No, I think we got along great. The only thing that happened one time is his first year as a coach here as a Blackhawks, he used me as an example. He thought that everybody was looking up at me, and he went on and got on my case for a couple times. So, obviously he was doing this to show everybody else that he wants respect on the team, and he wants respect for himself. So, obviously, that's the only thing that happened. And, I went out to speak with Orville, and I thought that, I'm the type of person that I get hurt really, really bad on those things. So I just felt that it wasn't unfair for myself.
You got to be going about 15 miles an hour faster tonight than you were 10 days ago when the Leafs were in here. This must be a game that you want to do well in for the reasons of the coaching change and others.
Well, I think Pulley's a great man. He works as hard as anybody else. He comes to practice and he's really intense, and we've got to be intense and win games for him because he's a great man.
Okay, how about the All-Star game? Are you upset that you're not going, that you weren't picked?
Well, obviously it's really nice to be there every year. I was there my last 3 years and I really enjoyed it very much. For sure I'll miss it in a way, but life goes on. You got to keep working at it. Obviously, there's good hockey players there too, and I think they deserve it.
The other way to look at it is that it's a small break, a short break in an otherwise long season, and maybe you can use it to your advantage. Huh?
That's right. I'll just my family's in town right now, and I'll enjoy a couple days with them, which is something that we don't do too often in the wintertime.
Okay, Denny, thank you very much.
In French.
Yeah, in French. So it's simply,
right.
Denny, what was your reaction when you heard that Orville Tessier had been fired?
Bien, je pense que naturellement, c'est tout le temps plus facile de congédier un instructeur. Naturellement, c'est de valeur pour Orval Tessier d'avoir perdu son emploi, mais je pense qu'il n'est pas le seul à blâmer. Il y a 20 joueurs dans une équipe, puis c'est eux autres qui doivent récolter les points et les buts sur la patinoire. Alors, il n'est pas le seul à blâmer, puis j'espère que sous la direction de M. Bob Fulford, l'équipe va aller mieux.
Merci bien. Okay, Denny.
Yeah.